Welcome back to Inside Sources. Today, as we continue our conversation on the future of our great country, I have with me a leading religious leader who is going to be exploring the future of our country along those lines, along the lines of religious tolerance and coming together. I'd like to welcome to Inside Sources the Chief National Imam of Al Habibiyah and also the Executive Director of the Islamic Society, who was also a former National Commissioner of the National Hajj Commission. I'm pleased today to welcome Chief Imam Fuad Adeyemi.
Thank you,
Chief Imam. Welcome to Inside Sources.
Welcome. Thank you so much, sir. Well done for the good work you are doing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So it's a conversation on the future of our country. As you know, of course, Nigeria is multi-religious, multi-ethnic, and we have all kinds of things, you know, that define our diversity.
Yeah.
So if you are asked today that as a society, as a community of people, you know, the totality of what is Nigeria today, are we on course to that great Nigeria, that greater Nigeria that most of us, if not all of us, believe is the destiny of our country?
Thank you so much. And I think this is one of the most important aspects of our country, the future of our country.
Yes.
If you look at what is happening recently, how it is happening, and where we are supposed to be, yet we can say we are on course, but we are still far from where we are all going to. But there is a Chinese adage that says that he who promised to fly and touch the sky and put a sheet of paper under his feet, he has started. So I think we have started something. If you look at the government presently, and I'm happy that things are hard for us. You know why? When things are hard, you tend to think out of the box to survive. Most of the time, if we think rightly, we will do things rightly because it is under pain that we need to do things better. Yeah. Everybody just wants to survive. So during the course of surviving, we might actually get to that promised land which we are going to.
Okay, well, you know, I like those opening, but we've been on this business, Chief Imam, for over 60 years now.
Yes.
At times it seems as if we're running in circles.
Well, I think the challenge which we have in this country is actually a challenge of leadership. And I can tell you, an average Nigerian is a good man.
That's true.
An average Nigerian is a genius. An average Nigerian wants a better thing for this country. So the challenge which we are having are leadership who does not understand where we are going, where we are, that the only interest is they themselves. They define national interest based on their personal interest. And now they cook it for us to assume this is a national interest. But if you look at it very well, you look at that just the interest of some group of people that are they just want to use our finger. While we are sleeping, they put our finger to stamp it that we are part of it.
Very important, profound point, and I agree with you entirely, you know, as to the challenge of leadership. Because if you look at what Nigerians are doing, you know, not just abroad, but even in the country, I mean, you see people making very huge strides, tremendous personal accomplishments.
Let me pick it up from you from there.
Yes.
Let me take religious angle.
Religious angle.
Religious angle.
Yes, please.
There is no any serious religious organization in the world that does not have the hand of Nigeria there. The current Pope of Catholic Church,
yes,
as at the time he was appointed in Chipney, those who are qualified to be Pope, as at that time, there were 2 Nigerians.
That's true. I remember that.
That Chipney. In Saudi Arabia, in Medina, there's one of the leading imams there is from Adamawa State.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that.
There is a church in America called the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, called the Church of Mormon.
Yes.
Their number 2 is from Calabar.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
So, I'm trying to let us know that these are strengths that God has given to us. Now, let us also look at the technology aspect in the world. Hardly is there any technological institution in the world that Nigeria does not have a remarkable presence there, anywhere in the world.
It's true.
So can you now imagine, why is it that when Nigerians were out, we are model, we excel? What is the secret? The secret is that there is no facility that can contain them at home. And they have this God-given gift, so they just have to go to where they will exercise this gift that God has given to them. That's why you see the Nigerian police, by the time they go out, they become the best.
They excel at the
Nigerian army, by the time they go out, they become the best. Same set of people. The question now is, why is it that we are not doing well at home? The meaning is that we have leadership who does not understand the interest or the need of the people that can accommodate them in such a way that become useful for themselves and for the entire nation.
Interesting. I agree with you, Chief Imam. And so in trying to understand how it is that our set of leadership, and when we're talking about leadership, we're not talking about the current leaders.
No.
We're talking about a cumulative,
and at all segments.
Yes, So I wanted to ask you, because you are a religious leader, one of the things that I also see that seems to, in terms of how we produce leaders, is that, these people also come among from us. So the people who are leaders, we are not born leaders for the most part. I mean, if it's not a monarchy, you are not born a leader, and we don't have a monarchical democracy.
Even monarchical, they are not born leaders.
Right?
Yes.
They may be born into it.
They are not born leaders.
Yeah.
But the issue here is this. You see, the evolution of leaders, that is what is giving us problem. How do we select selection of leaders? That is the problem of Nigeria, not those leaders themselves. At DB, we have a good process of selecting leaders. Believe me, nobody will have beaten us. But we don't have any system of leadership selection or evolution. The only system we have is a deceitful system. And what do I mean by deceitful system? Right. Let's say 5 people are contesting for, let's say, for argument position of a chairman of a local government.
Right.
There's one of them that can do excellently well. Instead of us to consider that, the assumed power that be, they say, this one, if he's there, will not listen to us. They remove him. This one has his own sense of his own. They cut him away. They remove him. This one, at the time he was against us, they remove him. Until they remain one, whether he's qualified, whether he's competent, whether he can do it, it doesn't matter. That he has evolved as the so-called preferred leader. And the reason is because the system that produces, so such a leader, what do you expect from him? Nothing. In fact, it's going to be -0.
Yeah.
That is what you get from the onset, because of the way he got to that position. So that is the challenge which we are facing. Even, do you know, it's not, when I say religious leader, it involves the churches, the mosque, the organizations, the government, the same system.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's sector-wide.
So, because nobody is becoming a role model in the way this thing has to be done, and that's why everybody believes that is the right thing. If you're in the mosque, somebody will say, okay, somebody will be in charge because he's close to the imam, he's close to the chairman. The same thing in the church. It is the pastor that brought him. His relatives to this. The same thing in government something. Yes, he's close to the DG. Yes, he's the minister's son.
Yeah.
That is the only thing which we get.
Interesting. So in your own view, how do we change that? What has to happen?
You see, many things has been happening. We have identified one in the area. Another greatest challenge we have is the problem of religion. You see, the two, the politics and religion, unless we are deceiving ourselves, is extremely important in this country.
True.
When you are deceiving yourself, you think, hey, this is government, this is something. It's a lie. We all know it's a lie. Nigeria, we have a peculiarities that is just peculiar to us as a country. No any other country has it.
So what do you mean? How do you define that? Do you mean in terms of? In
terms of religious composition.
Okay.
In terms of ethnic composition.
Okay. Yeah.
And in terms of regional composition. Nigeria is very unique. We don't have two of Nigeria. So because of that uniqueness, we need to have a kind of unique system that will solve our problem. One of it, I always tell people, is to start from the religious houses. If, you see, first and foremost, we have to define who are the religious leaders. No, we don't have definition of who religious leader is in this country. You might not know. Somebody who will just have an Islamia where he's teaching his children, he has a mosque near it. When he says something, they say religious leader. Religious leader of who? By who? And what qualifies you as a religious leader? Somebody just have a small money, he established a church, and he's talking. People say a Christian religious leader is talking. Who is he?
Who is he leading?
Who is he leading? We just have to first and foremost identify the meaning of religious leaders.
But you do know, that the religion is also a factor of division. I mean,
exactly.
That leadership views at times.
They do. I'm sorry. I don't want to say whether they do it deliberately. They don't want us to be united because there is nothing. I have a television program where if you listen to it, at the end of the day, you will be forced or you will accept that why are we actually quarreling with ourselves? You discover that a Muslim is saying something, a Christian is saying something. You would think the Muslim is peeping from the Bible, and you think the Christian is peeping from the Quran.
Because Ibrahim in Quran is Abraham in the Bible.
So by the time you now see it, you now discover that we don't have any reason to be against ourselves. But it was for example, look at the issue of Boko Haram. Boko Haram was designed in such a way that we were actually fighting ourselves. The Muslims is saying it is the Christian. The Christian are saying they want to eliminate Muslim. The Christian are saying they want to eliminate Christian. For Allah's sake, how can any sane human being think like that? They started this thing in Maiduguri. Maiduguri was the headquarters of Islam during, as far as early Sudanese Empire.
Yeah, even before the jihad.
Even before the jihad. Now they are killing people there. Of every Christian they kill, they have killed 99 Muslims. And the media now hype it as if when they kill a Christian, they burn a church, as if they are killing Christian in Maiduguri. They are burning a church. Then the Christian in the south, they say this Muslim self, they hate Christian. They don't want Muslims. So at the end of the day, they psych us to the level that we now become enemy to ourselves. The Christian believe that they were killing Christians in the north just like that.
Well, the truth of the matter is that I see your point that yes, Boko Haram is not, they were discriminatory, but there were times when they picked their victim also, and I guess it's part of their own strategy to cause confusion. Because there are times that they pick a Christian and say that we are killing you because you are a Christian. And people are listening, the family is listening, and they go and say that when they killed him, this was what they said.
Now, let me give you, there was a journalist who was going in the midst of these criminals.
Yes.
And he's a Christian. They asked him, are you a Muslim or a Christian? He said, I'm a Muslim. He said, you are a Muslim. Then, I don't know you are a Muslim. He said, because I'm a Muslim. They said, okay, pass. Then the wife now asked him, he said, why did you tell lie? He said, I know any good Muslim will not kill, that they are not Muslims. They are just criminals using Islam to destroy us. And the man was a Christian. So the issue is, let me put it, it's one of their strategy to make sure that we are not united, we are not be able to see correctly, so that we'll be able to know what our problems are and to solve those problems collectively. So when a Christian is thinking separately, we'll never get a solution.
True. Very, very important point. But I also wanted to ask you, as a religious leader, a chief imam, that what do you think about our values as a people? I think that we are suffering also from a decline of moral values.
Yes.
We see a lot of ostentation.
Yes.
People come to this into the common place. They showcase all kinds of successes, essentially material, and for a lot of the times, nobody is questioning.
Let us look at it holistically. At what point did religions become that kind of a thing? You should ask ourselves that question first.
When did it happen?
When did it happen? If you are following it, it started after 1976, the Udoji reform. That is when religion now become...
No, the Udoji Award.
The Udoji Award. That's when religion now becomes enterprise. Because they discover, one, you need money from Udoji. you need to get to people in government so that you have access to that money. So anybody who cannot get work will just come one day, is an imam in one small something with Bible regard and say, is this? So everybody want to listen. They want to control the thinking of those who are in power, in both religion, Christian and the Muslim. Everybody wants to, you want to compete with those that are doing business. So at the end of the day, everything about God is removed from religious houses. So religion is now become a center of enterprise where the only language they understand is money and power. So that is why I say we have not been able to define who religious leaders are. If we are able to do that, we'll be able to remove those kind of things from us. And that is why you now see the Muslims and the Christians, we began to compete unnecessarily. If a Muslim take 1 cup, most Christian must take 1 cup. If Christian take 2 cups, Muslim must take 2 cups. If Muslim is praying here, Christian must pray in there. Why don't we? Because we have seen that it is about influence now. It's not about worshiping God.
Interesting point. But I also wanted to address the sermons that we preach in churches and mosques.
You see the same thing.
We don't question
the same moral decline. Even the one that is preaching wants to compete with the one that you think you should preach against. Let me give you an instance. We have a program where we are training imams on anti-corruption.
Okay.
That imams should speak against corruption. Okay. We did it for 6 years in about 8 states of Nigeria. Now, when we finished the first 3 years, the imam now came to us and said, Imam, now you said we should be preaching against corruption. The people you asked us to be preaching against, they are the one giving us money to survive. How do we survive now?
Wow.
God help us. We have to introduce another set of training called Eat Halal. That Eat Halal.
What does it mean?
The first one is Eat Fine. The second one is Eat Halal. Eat Fine means encouraging accountability and transparency through faith-based intervention. Okay. That is Eat Fine.
Eat Fine.
Eat Fine. So we finished that one. It worked. It succeeded. But it was almost crumbling when we were told we don't have any food again at home. So we have to introduce Eat Halal, which is we now train the imams on how to make money. We liaise with so many organizations that can help them to have something doing. We introduce them to cooperatives
so that they
can
not
have money, so that they will not depend on their congregants.
Yeah.
And with gratitude to God, I can say with pride, some of our imams now, they might not be rich, but they are comfortable without begging anybody to survive.
It's interesting. Very, very, very important thing. But you have to do that on a national scale.
That is what I'm also telling you. You see, life becomes much easier when there is no problem. It's just for you to eat, to little things that you need in life, necessities of life, and government is there doing its own thing. You discover everything will be all right. But that necessity of things, because the necessity of life has been removed tactically by poverty, by bad governance, by corruption, by so many things. So that everybody is now fighting tooth and nails, either legally or illegally, or anywhere that your brain can guide you, you want to make it.
Interesting. And I'm grateful that you raised the issue of poverty, because that is also something that the good books, the Bible and the Quran talks a lot about.
Yes.
How we should take care of poor people. As a matter of fact, in the Bible it says that you're going to always have poor people around you.
You are going to
that there will always be poor people around, and it speaks a lot about how you have to give alms and do a lot of charity. As a matter of fact, in the Bible, it says that the reason why you have excess, the reason why God blesses you to have excess is because of other people.
Exactly.
Now, so and I'm sure that it's the same thing. Now, but my question is, look at the level of poverty that is in this country, Chief Man. It is astonishing. How and many of us who are, by the grace of God, that God has blessed us, we have quite a bit of. It's getting to the point when, if we are not careful, once they see that you are looking good, you have a nice dress on top.
It's almost getting there.
They
It's
will
almost getting
think
there.
that you are actually the cause. As religious leaders, what do you think about this? What's your perspective on that kind of a problem?
You see, I keep quiet. In our organization, we just started a massive program on anti-poverty. Massive. Do you understand what I call massive? All religion preaches charity, encourages charity, promotes charity, and the importance of charity in our life. But one, is that charity enough? The one we are doing now, even those who are doing it, are they doing it rightly? For example, in Islam, I know the Bible has it tithe, and we have zakat, but there are a bit of difference between the Bible tithe and the Quranic zakat. Zakat is meant to develop poor people. I don't know whether Bible also, but it's not to develop the religious leaders. It's not even to develop the religious houses. It's to develop the religious people.
Yeah, a lot of the givings in the Bible too is also meant. Yeah, well, okay. I mean, the clergy has to be taken care of, but there's a lot of the emphasis in the Bible is also about helping
the poor. Yes. We just
and the widows even.
We just introduced a program now we call the Wakaf. That's what we call Wakf. Is an endowment. The meaning of Wakf means endowment.
Okay.
You see, in Nigeria, that endowment, many people have been doing it, charity something, but they've not been doing it rightly.
Okay.
And let me give an example. We have a lot of rich people in this country who have been doing excellently, who did excellently well. When they died or when they are old, nobody's hearing anything about them again. Look at these so-called developed countries. They have charity that is sustainable.
Yes, even after they've gone.
Even after they've gone. Look at even Tata in India. The owner of Tata died in 1904.
Oh, wow.
Look at MacArthur. MacArthur, the man MacArthur himself died in 1978. And yet, what they left behind is still helping millions of people. Why is it that our own is not working?
Carnegie, Ford.
You see, all of them, they have died since, and they are still functioning excellently well. Why is our own not doing that? And that is the program we intend to actually publicize now, to make people understand that we need to do something like this, helping that is sustainable.
Interesting. So what do you think? Okay, land on the point.
So we need to do something that is sustainable, endowments that can take care of almost everybody. There is a local government in Kenya. Almost all of them, they used to this endowment that they do not need government at all. Even to get married, there's an endowment. For primary school, from primary 1 to 6, there's an endowment. For secondary school, there's an endowment. For university, there's an endowment. Even when somebody dies, there's an endowment for funeral.
Wow.
So you don't need to go and steal. There's an endowment for accommodation. That those who could not afford to pay a house, that there are about 1,000 homes that are there for people to come and live for at least 5 years before you get your own thing.
In Kenya.
There's a local government.
So the community has risen up.
So people are not, two things are fundamental here. There's one between being rich and being poor. It is only God that determines who is rich, but we human beings, we have to make sure nobody is poor.
Interesting, very interesting. But the flip side of that is that so we have a country where there is a lot of plenty. Our resources are among us. Human resources, natural resources, and where you see a lot of expenditure on part of government. We are just, the president has just signed the budget. It's almost over 50 trillion. And you don't see the challenge of the people.
In fact, let's start from the last palliative. I don't know if you are aware. The last palliative the government did.
Yes.
During when the dollar everything was.
Yes, after subsidy was removed.
We did more than 90% of people can say they've gotten anything about what they call subsidy, what they call palliative. The reason is, one, corruption is unbelievable. The politician, they want to use it to sustain or to introduce status quo. All those things that were supposed to be given to people to help people were actually being used as a tool of power. I don't know whether you understand what I'm trying to say. So at the end of the day, nobody feels any impact. Nobody feels any impact of this thing. So I will still take you back to religious houses. During COVID-19,
right,
government gave a lot of people for COVID palliative. The one they gave to religious houses, I can tell you, I witnessed that of the Khan and I witnessed that of FCT pilgrims, FCT imams, that it goes to the lowest of the low and everybody felt the impact of it. But when it is in the hand of, I don't want to say civil servant or the politician, I'm afraid we can never get there. And as much as we are doing it the way we are doing it in this country,
right,
we can never, I assure you, and I want you to quote me, we can never get there. If the way we are doing it, the way we are still going to continue to do it, we can never see any success. I'm sorry.
So it has to be done how? Taken out of the government.
Out of the government hands.
So government will just provide the resources, the provisions,
and they monitor it from the way they are giving it to. If it is in the religious houses, let's say they give it to Khan. Before anybody will steal, Khan will first divide it into 5.
Because there are 5 blocks.
So all those ones, there are so many other churches in those blocks. They will also deliver to those 8 ones. Before you know it will get to everybody. Even if it will be stolen there, it will be very, very minimal.
Interesting. Very, very, very powerful. And the same thing, for Islamic.
If you give to Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, they have state leaders, they have local government leaders, and they have other who are under that they will control it. People will be able to have it because people will notice the amount they give to our church. This is the amount we give to our mosque. Everybody, you have it in the brain, your brain. You will know if they give them, for example, let's say 100, and you will calculate 90 has been shared to people. If Sultan is stolen, because we are not angels,
right?
If 10 is stolen out of 90, I think it's a pass mark. But when it's only 90 that is stolen,
of course, there's nothing left. Okay, because of our time, maybe last question. I wanted you to give me your opinion. There's a little bit of controversy now. Everybody's fasting now. Today, even the Lent started today, this week. Yeah, okay. The Islamic fast started. Last Friday or Saturday. And then even, people that are not led, like people like me, we started our fasting in February. So everybody's fasting now. But in some states, they've now said that, okay, for the period of the Islamic fast, people should not go to school. What do you think about that?
This is, to me, I see it as political. I'm sorry. If you know the history of fasting in Islam, they might be saying, yes, there is heat, but the heat here cannot be as hot as Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
During the time of fasting, there are a lot of things that were actually done that change the way things are being done. For example, the second year of Hijrah, when the Prophet moved from Mecca to Medina, there was a war that the Meccan waged war against the Muslim. They said they want to exterminate them completely.
The
Meccans, the Arabs. They said they want to exterminate Islam. At that time, it was a nascent. All the total number of their military is not more than 313.
Was I don't know how to refer to the prophet. Was the prophet alive then?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. It was even the target they want to eliminate. There was a big war. They brought like 1,000 soldiers armed. The Muslims, they are young, they're about 313. They do not have military arms for it. It was during fasting.
Oh, wow.
They fought and they won them. The 313 won 1,000 people during fasting. If you go to Jerusalem, there is a place where there is a mosque, is not far from a church.
Yes, I know that.
That history of church, that mosque, let me tell you that it was during fasting in Shaban. during fasting in Ramadan, rather.
Okay.
The Muslim, what is his name, led the Muslim to win the people in Israel. Then they won the Jerusalem. He wanted to pray. They now say he want to pray in the church. He now say, if I pray in this church, they will convert it to a mosque. Say, I will not pray in the church. He now move away small. He prayed there. Where he prayed, he's now converted to a mosque. He said, so that the church will still continue to survive. It was during fasting.
Oh, wow.
During Ramadan. The point I'm trying to raise there is that Ramadan is a time you are serious with your God. It's not a series of entertainment. It's a serious thing in the life of a Muslim. That for somebody to now say, I remember when we were in secondary school, up to my university level, any exam that I have in Ramadan, no matter how serious I've been, I will come out with excellence.
Wow. Because you're focused.
Focus. Ramadan gives you focus in everything which you do. I remember vividly what they were doing biology in 1983 in our WAEC then. Some of us, they believe we are not serious, but it was during Ramadan.
First, okay.
We are one of the ones that has best results in biology.
Wow.
And we are art students. People were surprised. See, Ramadan can give you anything.
So this idea of
closing school, to me, I'm not part of it. I actually don't believe in it. It doesn't speak well of Islam. I'm sorry.
And it's so new, because this is
the first time as you are seeing there is an holiday in Ramadan. For Allah's sake. For what purpose? For what purpose? You need to work, but they know what they have. I can't blame them. But for me, even on a Friday, in Islam,
right.
Islam does not ask you to lock your shops on Friday.
Exactly.
He said, go and work when it's time for prayer, lock your shop. When you finish prayer, go back to your shop.
And we see that all the time, people will come out from their shops and pray. For the time.
So for somebody to not say compulsorily, because it is Friday, compulsorily, I must not work. No. Islam is a religion that has a rules. You can't just come one day and introduce your own system. We have things we are following. We have the path we are following.
Interesting. Thank you so much, Chief Imam. This has been a very interesting conversation. But I always ask my guests one final question. That our president is going to be 2 years in May. This is already March, so we have April. Oh, actually 2 months.
Yes.
If you have the opportunity to give him an advice, what will you say to the president?
Well, first and foremost, I will tell him Nigeria first. Inclusivity, it's important. You must make sure that everybody is, what used to cause war is exclusivity. So be conscious of inclusivity, 1. Then 2, be conscious of your people. Do not rely on your friends to give you information about what is happening in the country. Do not rely on the security around you alone. Because you will fail. If they are the only one you are listening to, I'm sorry. You should have opportunity or ways of getting to the people themselves.
You have diverse sources
of information, so that when you are taking decision you will take will be decision that will be in the interest of the people. If you are only following the advice of the people who work for you, you are not likely to have it right.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And as you are there, be prepared for the day you will see it on a visitor's chair when you come back to that same office.
That's like the young people of this generation will say, word. You just gave a very important one. Thank you so much, Chief Imam for your contributions, and for the great work you do with the Abrahamic mission and all the active work you do in terms of tolerance and bringing all the faiths together, and your work as an imam, leading the people spiritually, and also thank you for your voice, thank you for coming to Inside Sources.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and thank you too for the good work you are doing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.